The last module of Goal 7 is about naming the muscles. After the first few slides, which I will explain, click through at your own pace to learn the muscles. There will not be any recording beyond me just naming the muscles so you can hear the words. All of the skeletal muscles are attached to bones and therefore move those bones. So the muscles work by making the bones into levers. Since you already know the bones, hopefully you'll learn as you go through the muscles which bones those muscles move. Muscles are usually attached to two different bones. One of them is the origin and one of them is the insertion. The one that is not moving, the bone that the muscle is attached to that doesn't move, is referred to as the origin. And the bone that it's attached to and makes move is called the insertion. The easiest example here is the biceps muscle. Its origin is the scapula. You can see the attachment there to the coracoid process and underneath into the above the glenoid cavity. So the origin is the scapula, and when that muscle contracts, it pulls the lower arm toward the body. So the insertion is the radius. Okay, that's the bone that actually is moving closer to the body. Ironically, the biceps muscle lies over top of the humerus, and it doesn't move the humerus, and it's actually not really attached to the humerus. So it's kind of weird when you think about it. The prime mover of any movement is the main muscle that's involved. So the main muscle that's used to flex your arm is the biceps brachii. All the other muscles that may contract to assist the biceps brachii are referred to as the synergistic muscles. The brachialis is a synergistic muscle in arm flexion. So it's involved in flexion, but the big one really is the biceps brachii. A muscle that moves in the opposite direction or relaxes when another one contracts is called the antagonistic muscle, or the antagonist. In this case, the biceps flexes or contracts to move the arm up, to flex the arm. The tricep muscle has to relax. So in this movement, flexion of the arm, the biceps brachii is the prime mover, the brachialis is the synergistic muscle, and the triceps brachii is the antagonistic muscle. From the website that is listed on the on this PowerPoint slide, it talks about all the different ways muscles are named, and you don't have to remember this at all, why muscles are named what they are, but sometimes knowing what the names mean gives you a clue where they are. For example, the word magnum or maximus means large, so some muscles have the word maximus or magnum in there, and you can assume it's a large muscle. Sometimes muscles are named for their shape. Trapezius is kind of a muscle that is shaped like a trapezius, and deltoid means triangle, and it is shaped kind of like a triangle. Rectus, the word rectus means the fibers run inferior to superior. So orientation of the muscle fibers, if you look at the muscle itself, which way is the fibers going, you can sometimes tell where the muscle is by the name. Rectus is up and down, oblique is an angle, transverse is side to side. Sometimes muscles are named for what they do. Adductors, adduct. Abductors, abduct. Flexors, extensors, pronators. They do that action. How many attachments a muscle has may be part of the name. Biceps has 2 origins, triceps has 3. Sometimes they're named for where they're attached, the origin or insertion. Sternocleidomastoid muscle is attached at the sternum, the clavicle, and the mastoid process, so it's named for its attachment points. Sometimes they're named for their function. For the masseter, for example, that one does mastication, which is the fancy word for chewing. Some are named for the location. The pectoral muscles are over the pectoral region. Abdominal muscles are over the abdominal region. So if you know some of what the words mean in the muscles when you're going through and naming them, sometimes that helps you remember where or what they look like or what they do. So here's overall some of the muscles that you need to know. There's a figure similar to this in your lab book. So we're just going to go through it. I will just name the muscles. I think almost all of the muscles that are pointed to in most of these figures are on your major muscle list. So check that out in your lab packet. Frontalis, orbicularis oculi, zygomaticus, the buccinator, orbicularis oris, platysma, trapezius, sternocleidomastoid, the masseter muscles, occipitalis, temporalis, and the aponeurosis that connects the occipitalis and the frontalis. The deltoid muscle, pectoralis major, biceps brachii, underneath it the brachialis, and the brachioradialis. Upper chest muscles, again the pectoralis and the deltoid. The pectoralis minor is underneath the pectoralis major, and serratus anterior. Upper arm muscles, the biceps brachii, the brachialis kind of underneath it, and the brachioradialis down the radius. Flexor carpi radialis flexes the wrist, and extensor digitorum helps extend the fingers. Some of the muscles on the back that you need to know. The trapezius muscle, okay, the deltoid, the supraspinatus muscle, and the infraspinatus is underneath it, teres major and teres minor. The latissimus dorsi is the large back muscle, and the splenus muscles help hold up the neck. Your abdominal muscles, the outermost is the external oblique, and then internal oblique in the middle, and transverse abdominis, the deepest one. These muscles here, attached by aponeurosis is in between, is the rectus abdominis. Here's some more back muscles, the trapezius and the deltoid. The large one is latissimus dorsi. Above the spine of the scapula is supraspinatus, underneath is infraspinatus, and then the teres major and minor. The front of your leg, sartorius, kind of goes diagonally. The tensor fascia latae goes down the outside. The middle of their quadriceps is the rectus femoris. The outside is vastus lateralis, and on the inside is vastus medialis. The inner thigh are the adductor muscles, adductor magnus and adductor longus, and this little muscle right here is your gracilis. That's not on your list, I don't believe. The back of your leg, the gluteus maximus, and underneath it gluteus medius. Your hamstrings include your biceps femoris, the semitendinosus and membranosus. You can see the upper part of the adductor here, and the back calf muscle is your gastrocnemius. Here's the gastrocnemius again, and underneath, kind of on the side, is the soleus, attached underneath the tibia. Check out your atlas and lab packet for your list. We'll be going over these in great detail in the classroom using the torsos and the mini-me's, and hopefully you can see some of these on the cadaver.